Oh.
Hi, this is Teacher Nami. I'll be your
Hello.
I'll be your online English teacher for today.
Thank
How
you.
would you like me to call you?
My name is Yoshiyuki Masaki. Please call me Ma-san for short.
Okay. Hi, Masa-san. It's very nice to meet you.
Nice
So,
to meet you.
before we start, I'd like to check a few things first, okay?
Okay.
Okay. So, I'd like to check if you can hear me clearly, Masa-san.
Yes.
And can you also see me clearly?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. But before anything else, I'd like to ask I would like to apologize because my nose is clogging. So sometimes I might cover my nose.
Okay.
Thank you for understanding. Because it's rainy season here. I catch a cold recently. Okay, thank you. So since this is our first meeting together, would that be fine if we have self-introduction with each other?
Sure.
Okay, I'll start. Once again, my name is Teacher Nami. I'm from Ozamis City, Philippines. That's in Mindanao. I study business administration. And what I do during my free time is that I like to watch movies, shopping, and also baking cakes and cupcakes. How about you, Masa-san? Can you share something about yourself?
Okay. I am a retired English teacher now,
Wow!
teaching English to Japanese students by Skype. I have taught in traditional schools for more than 30 years at the university, high school, junior high school, and elementary schools as well.
Wow!
And one of my hobbies is to translate English books into Japanese. And the book I am now translating is called Memoir, The Woman Who Could Not Forget.
Oh, wow. I think that would be a very nice book.
Yes. This book is about the rape of Nankin. Have you heard of it?
Okay, sorry for that. What was that again? The rape of?
The rape of Nankin.
I haven't heard that.
Okay. The rape of Nankin is a massacre that happened in 1937 in Nankin, China. Nankin was the capital of China at the time. So Japan wanted to occupy this city, and by occupying it, they thought they could control the whole of China. And so they sent many soldiers to this city, and what the soldiers did was to massacre innocent civilians, kill babies, rape women, and kill them afterwards, just as they did to the Filipinos in war times.
Yeah.
But in Nankin, they did it on a larger scale because Nankin was the capital.
Yeah.
And the population there at the time was 1 million people.
1 million people. Oh my God, that's very many.
Yeah, and among them, 300,000 were killed.
So many.
Huge number. But what is worse is the fact that even after World War II ended, the Japanese government has not admitted it happened. So that's why we have a bad relationship between China and Japan. And about 18 years ago, a Chinese American named Iris Chan wrote a book about this incident, and it became a bestseller in the United States. She wrote the book at the age of 29, But 7 years later, she committed suicide. And everybody wanted to know why. And then her mother, who is a professor at the university, wrote a book about her own daughter and gave some reasons she thinks why. And that is the book I am now translating.
Oh, that's a very nice background of the book. Very interesting. Wow.
And
So,
if you want to know the reasons, I will tell you.
oh, I would like to hear that.
Okay, but before telling you about that, let me say that I met this mother.
Oh, so you met her personally.
And more surprisingly, I met her daughter as well.
Oh my God.
Yeah, the reason is because I was once invited to give a talk about the rape of Nankin at the University of British Columbia in Vancouver. And there, Iris Chan was invited also. So we were in the same classroom discussing the topic in front of Canadian students. That's the first time I met Iris Chan. And then after she passed away, I was again invited. And this time, Iris Chan's parents were invited. So I have the chance to meet her parents. And when I met her mother, I promised I would translate the book into Japanese. And that's what I am doing now. And concerning the reasons, Mother mentioned several reasons, not just one, in her book. One of which was that there was a threat by the Japanese. Many Japanese people don't want this story to be spread out. So some Japanese sent Iris Chan a letter in which they enclosed a razor blade, meaning to say, kill yourself with this. But actually this was not a real threat because the Japanese were living in Japan and Iris Chan was living in the United States, so she must have been aware that they were only trying to intimidate her.
Yes.
And the real reason, Mother says, is this, that after writing about the rape of Nankin, she began to write about the history of your country, the Bataan Death March.
Bataan March.
Yeah, you know that.
Yeah, I know that.
As you know, in that march, not only Filipinos, but also Americans were involved.
Many Americans too?
Yes. Because at that time, Filipinos and Americans were allies fighting against the Japanese. So Iris Chan wanted to write about this time. So she began by interviewing American survivors. And while she was writing about the rape of Nankin, she also went to China and interviewed Chinese victims still alive and heard a lot of stories of hell they experienced. And now she had to listen to another story of hell by Americans who love to talk and talk and talk. So it must have been stressful for her. She gradually became mentally ill, and at some point she had to go to a doctor. And Mother says the medicine the doctor prescribed for her killed her. The medicine actually made her worse instead of better, and she ended up by shooting herself in the head in her own car.
Oh my gosh, that's so sad. Tragic.
Yes.
Oh, that's so, I feel so heavy about her story. Yeah, so that's, I really can't imagine what the parents have felt about her suicide.
Yeah. And the Mother's book is available at Amazon.com. It's an ebook. All you have to do is just download. So.
Well, yeah, maybe in the future. I don't know how to buy ebooks on Amazon. Yeah, it's I think there is Amazon for international, right?
Yes, yes.
Oh, okay, thank you. That book that you shared is very, very interesting. So I think I might find a way to buy that book soon.
Okay, now on a brighter note, probably the thing that we are both interested in would be English education in Japan. Because you are
Yes.
teaching Japanese students, and I am most interested in that field. So we could talk about that if you like.
Oh, sure. Okay. So, what's your best advice for me as a English teacher?
To teach Japanese students, you mean?
Yeah, to teach Japanese students.
Okay. Probably you may have heard many complaints about our English education system in Japan.
No,
No?
I haven't heard yet.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? Okay. In Japan, English conversation is not practiced in schools.
Yes, I heard.
What is practiced is translation from English to Japanese and vice versa, and explanation of English grammar in Japanese. So students do not have much chance to listen to English. That's why I think there are so many Japanese who are taking DMM lessons. I hear the number of the Japanese people taking DMM lessons is more than 200,000.
Yes, very big.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I think every day I have at least 8 students if I am not so busy. So I open 8 slots, and that is always full. Yeah.
Okay. And how long have you been here at DMM?
I've been here for almost 2 years because I started almost 3 years because I started 2016. August 2016. So I'll be turning 3 years in DMM in August 2019.
Yeah, I have learned that in your country, from the very beginning of the elementary schools, every subject except the Filipino language was taught in English.
Yes, very true.
Which is very impressive.
Oh, you think it's impressive?
Yeah, it will never happen in Japan. Because other subjects, to teach other subjects in English would be impossible for Japanese. Even in the English classrooms, there is a debate whether we should teach all in English or bilingually using Japanese.
So sometimes you will talk in Japanese in English classes?
Yeah, most English teachers do so. They speak Japanese language most of the time.
Very, very different here in Philippines. Because here in Philippines, we had English almost every day. Like, kids are taught English. maybe I think it's the primary language here. Because it's everywhere. Like we use English in documents, not Filipino. Yeah, and sometimes we hate it because why do we need to use English? But sometimes I appreciate it because it's easy for us to communicate with foreigners, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's good to have English conversation practice. But what our government is now demanding is that the English teachers in junior high schools and high schools must teach English from now on using English only.
Yeah.
This seems to be a good idea.
Yeah.
But
yes.
only if you ask the right kind of teachers to do it, it could be successful. And the Japanese teachers are not the right choice because they were not taught how to speak English, although they were taught how to translate English into Japanese. So, to ask them to conduct an English class all in English would be unrealistic. They can't.
Yeah. So maybe English speakers should be the one teaching English in junior high school. Is that right?
So the if the government, what the government wants is a classroom where everything should be spoken, they should ask people like you to do it. Because what you are now doing is exactly what our government wants. But if it happened, if all the classes in Japan, all the English classes in Japan were taught by people like you, there's another problem that arises, which is the present Japanese English teachers have to resign, which is not good. And so the alternative would be to have both, I think.
Yes.
Because especially in the beginning level, I think it is necessary for Japanese students to be taught bilingually. And those Japanese English teachers are good at these skills.
Yes.
So half of the classes should be taught by people like you, all in English, and the other half by the present Japanese English teachers bilingually.
Yeah, bilingually, so that they can easily understand. Yeah, because us who doesn't speak Japanese, we could not translate it to Japanese. We can only speak English. Yeah, okay, that's a great idea. Your idea is very great. Okay, how about, because is English also taught in universities, or is it required in universities?
Those who majored in English literature, there are many English subjects, but even those who major in economics or other things, there are some English classes they have to take.
Oh, a few English classes. Yeah, it's very different setting here in Philippines because even in university we still have to take English classes. Many English classes, like I had 10 English classes in total for the whole degree. Yeah. So if if they will use half of the class for bilingual teachers and half of teachers like me, it would be very, very useful because because they will be also good in speaking English, right? Yeah, it's very realistic than making all teachers like me.
And actually, I am doing what I think would be ideal, which is that I am now teaching Aiken English. Have you heard of Aiken?
No. I don't know the meaning, but I heard the word Aiken.
Yeah, DMM has recently started to teach Aiken.
Yes.
Aiken is an English test originally produced by Japan. It's very popular in Japan, and the number of those Japanese who are taking Aiken tests in a year is 2.5 million.
There's a lot.
Yes, great demand in Japan. And I have been an examiner of Aiken for more than 30 years. So I know the ropes of Aiken. That's why I am teaching Japanese students how to pass Aiken tests. And in order to teach Aiken, the best way is to teach bilingually. Because in Aiken there are such questions as translate the following Japanese into English.
Oh, yes.
So in that case, some knowledge of the Japanese language helps in teaching. But at the same time, I know the importance of thinking in English. And I'm glad that DMM has started teaching Aiken because all the teachers there speak everything in English, which gives the Japanese students a chance to think in English. And so I am now advising my students to take DMM lessons as well, so that if they study both kinds of English, I believe they would become closer to perfection. And that's what I am doing on individual levels.
Wow.
But,
so you're very committed.
I don't stop there. I am now planning to visit the elementary schools and junior high schools and meet the principals there and ask them to adopt this way, study Aiken and DMM lessons. And if several schools move in this direction, I believe there would be an English revolution in Japan.
Yes, I think that would really start them to be very good in the English field. Yeah, you're so committed. I admire your commitment in promoting English and DMM to them. Yes, because not all people are interested in learning English, right? Yeah, maybe I observed that many people like to learn English because it's a required thing in their job, or they visit other countries, they like to speak English, but the thing you do will make them very interested in English. So that's a good job.
Thank you.
You're such a very inspiring man. So I just like to thank you for doing this doing your job spreading English to many people, and I'm quite ashamed because you're very good in English and I'm not so good at it.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's like I'm teaching English, or I'm having a conversation with someone who is very good in English and I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we're almost time, Masa-san. So did you enjoy our lesson together?
Of course.
I also enjoyed because I learned a lot from you. And thank you for that. I will always keep this knowledge and your story with me